Hello.
Hey, Shelley.
Nice to meet you, Angela.
Hey, great to meet you as well.
I'm excited for your session.
Oh, well, good. I hope I hope it lives up.
Well, you kind of got an interesting time slot right here, right? I think it's the last round of sessions. But it looks like attendance has been pretty good this morning in the other sessions that I've been part of, so
Oh, good. Okay.
it's good. So have you been able to attend any of the other sessions, or are you just primarily speaking?
I did a little poking around this morning on yesterday's, and then I watched the keynote this morning um, with Neil, and that was really informative, and he's very good.
Oh, good to know. I'm going to go back and watch that one then because I had another meeting this morning, so I couldn't do the keynote. So
Yeah, you should. It's definitely. I'm going to mention it in my presentation that if folks haven't had a chance to see it, to go watch it.
so besides introducing you, do you want me to, when we get close to the end of the session time, I think it's, let's see, what time? Do you want me to like send you a message to say we're coming up on the end of the session or anything like that? Or are you?
I'm thinking we should be well within the time. I've got presenter mode on PowerPoint, so I can kind of keep an eye.
Great.
It's like 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the target.
Okay. My last session I ran over. Like there's just way too much to talk about. And I had a panel of people and I was like, oh, I should not have done 4 people. I should have done 3, but it's all good.
Oh, that's all right. Well, I think when the conversation's good, people don't mind that.
Yeah, well, people stuck around, so they didn't leave. But anyway, so I'm so excited to hear about Robotic Skies. I coach a robotics team since 2005, and a lot of my students are huge drone fans. We do summer camps and online camps where we teach other kids, and one of the camps that we do is how to build a drone. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of I've been in aviation a long time, but drones are new for me. So this last year has been just a lot of learning with getting arms around all the things that are happening in the drone space. And obviously we focus more on the commercial side, but yeah, I think there's new concepts and new headlines and everything like on an hourly basis in this industry. It's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's an emerging technology, right? So
yeah,
possibilities are endless. Do you have slides that you're going to want to share?
I do have slides, so I'll share my screen, and then I have a couple of videos as well. So I'll kind of toggle to a browser and show the video and come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I just
How's the audio?
I think it's good. I just made you a co-host. We did have somebody on here who was supposed to be running the tech, but I don't see them now. They dropped off.
Yeah,
but
I thought
it's good because it's already recording the session, and since I made you co-host, you should have access to share your screen.
So, okay, I'll do a little test here. And
that'd probably be a good idea, just to make sure that. Beautiful, I can see it.
Okay, and then if I go full screen, you can see full screen?
Yes, I can see full screen.
Okay. And then I'll just test the browser as well. So if I go.
Yeah, you want to make sure that the sound is playing. Do you want to hit the start button just to make sure I can hear the sound from your video?
Yeah, I think there's a. Yeah, sure. There we go. So go here and then.
There we go. Yep, you got it. Awesome.
that come across too loud?
Nope, I think it's fine.
It's good. Okay.
Mhm. And
Hard
people
to
have the
tell
opportunity,
when.
they can turn their volume down too if they need to, but
Yeah.
that's good. I'm glad to know that's all working because, you know, technology these days, you
Mm-hmm.
plan and you create things, you want them to
Yeah, come
well
across
for you.
well.
Mhm, mhm. Fantastic.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So you used to work at a company here in Albuquerque. Um, or it's Albuquerque-based manufacturer, the Aspen Avionics.
Yeah, Aspen Avionics.
So were you
Yeah,
actually here?
I was actually
In
there,
Albuquerque?
and
Okay.
I miss it. My husband and I are kind of getting a plan together to
Come back?
relocate back to Albuquerque because
Oh, yay.
yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Hey, there's Richard Krukar from Loza and Loza. Richard, it's been a long time. Too
Yeah,
long. Yeah.
it's been since before the COVID.
I know. I see your nephew quite a bit. I asked Bob a law question the other day, and he's like, "You really need to just reach out to Richard." I'm like, "Yeah, I do. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right." So
What
nothing
is it?
horrible. It's preventative. You know, I'm not the business person that, because I'm married to an attorney, I try really hard to ask a lot of questions before I take action. So awesome. And I was
So,
working with Kevin, hoping to get some IP stuff done, but still waiting for the budget to match the need.
oh yes, I remember those emails. Yeah, always fun.
Yeah, you doing good?
Yeah. So what are you talking to John about?
Oh, he's on the board of our nonprofit now.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very cool. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's going to be officially working as an MTS at Sandia soon.
Yeah,
So
he's gonna
things
be
are,
graduated. It'll be official very soon, huh?
yeah, so pretty happy for him.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
our community. He's doing
Uh-huh.
some great things. So all those crew cars are doing some good things. So
Nah. Yeah. Oh wow. I've got my just a picture up there. Let's see if I can
I knew I
fix.
didn't see your lips moving, but you know, I thought it might have been my internet glitching.
Yeah.
How's that?
There you go. Good to see you. You never know
Yeah.
these days, right? It's better to have just a picture than the wrong picture, if you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah, yeah. Oh geez.
awesome.
That
Awesome.
that news guy that got canned because he thought his audio was off.
Having a daughter that works at the news station, you would be surprised how many times that stuff happens.
Oh, swell. But she's working at the news station now.
She is, yeah. Mackenzie is at KRQE. So
Well,
yeah.
that's a little unexpected.
Yeah, she transitioned from, you know, video and editing of robotics, competitive robotics stuff to news station. She's looking for opportunities, but for right now,
Mhm.
it's a good experience. So yeah,
Well, I guess video and editing is video and editing.
it's true. If you need a video or editing, she is amazing. So let me know.
Hmm. Uh,
Know somebody, but I think we are about to get started here. I think at 12:15 our session officially starts, and I want to make sure that we have every moment possible for today's guest, today's speaker, Angela Anderson. I know that you all just want to say hi and welcome, and thanks for hanging in there. This is exciting information that we're going to hear on the emerging commercial drone industry session with Angela Anderson of Robotic Skies. I was talking to Angela before the session, and you know, she used to be here in the 505. She knows what it means, you know, the Berkey and to be part of New Mexico, but she's currently now, I believe, in Texas somewhere. And she's got a lot of rich background in avionics and aviation career that has led her to Robotic Skies. So I'm going to just let you take off, Angela.
Okay, thanks so much, Shelley. Yes, here's to getting back to New Mexico someday very soon.
Cheers.
All right, let's get this. So is my screen sharing already?
It is. Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's pop it into presentation mode. Okay, well, hi folks. Thank you for joining my session today. Like Shelley alluded to, I've been in aviation for a really long time, for the last 18 years or so, and grew up in general aviation. And I spent the most recent year with Robotic Skies, learning about unmanned aircraft systems. This is a new area of the industry for me, and the important role for professional aviation maintenance in this emerging market. So today I would like to share a little bit about Robotic Skies, who we are and what we do. I'll highlight a few of the manufacturer partners that we work with, and we'll look at a sampling of use cases. We'll also look at some of the key impacts on full integration of this technology into the mainstream national airspace system. And then we'll wrap it up with some, hopefully some aspirational food for thought. Okay, so Robotic Skies is as you can see here, we're a global marketplace of independently owned and operated service centers, and we're focused on providing maintenance and repair services for commercial unmanned aircraft. And Robotic Skies represents a new business model in the realm of aviation maintenance. And to explain that, I'll share a little background on how we came to be. So we were founded way back in 2014. Our founder had three kind of fundamental beliefs. And his first prediction, looking at the drone space, he had a personal interest in drones, and began to think about it in more commercial terms. And his first prediction was that drones had the potential to be the most significant disruptor to aerospace since the advent of the jet engine. And we're hopeful that proliferation is imminent. There's a lot of support infrastructure required and a lot of business opportunity tied to that. The second prediction he had was that to integrate drones into the national airspace, the aviation authorities would regulate them just like manned aviation aircraft. And ultimately that would include the need for a certified aviation grade maintenance support. And he comes, by the way, our founder, his background is in aviation maintenance, and his family owned and operated repair station. So, and the third thing that was on his mind at that time was that to realize the true potential of drone technology, these aircraft would continue to get bigger and more complex, and therefore more costly to simply replace or transport back to a production facility for repair, which is kind of the current predominant support model, is returning it back to the factory. So pairing these predictions and beliefs along with his deep understanding of the manned aviation infrastructure and maintenance in particular, our founder came up with the Robotic Skies concept. And in fact, we're seeing many of these predictions begin to play out today. And I would like to quickly now dazzle you with our company video to give you a little more foundation here. So. So as you can see, a lot of application and a lot of different verticals. And over the last few years, we have seen these enterprise operators, they've been testing out the concept of drone technology using more consumer grade type drones, lower cost units, to really prove out the basic business model or the basic business cases and use cases for their business. Now they're realizing the ROI with this technology in the business. Now they want to graduate into more complex missions that are going to require things like heavy lift capabilities to carry more sophisticated sensor payloads or cargo, longer endurance. They want more automation. There's opportunities in new operational environments. And so because of this higher investment level and the regulatory implications, which we'll talk about a little more later, operators of these professional systems want to professionally maintain and repair them versus just replacing them. And by some predictions, and there are many predictions about the industry, a lot of unknowns, but many of the predictions forecast volume for the commercial UAS global fleet in the next few years is going to be in the millions. And the prospect of a fleet this size requires new business models to really address the demands on support infrastructure. So in the case of Robotic Skies, we've positioned ourselves to be a single point of access for operators and manufacturers to plug into a global support system that will efficiently distribute maintenance services through our over 200 service centers now. And then as the needs of the commercial drone industry grow, we can scale up and recruit more service centers into the network. And that efficient processing and distribution of maintenance requests, that will be enabled by our robust marketplace software platform, which is something we're actively developing. So our local solution is great. It alleviates those pain points related to shipping these larger, more complex systems, the logistics around that, and then the extended downtime that can occur while you're waiting for that transit time. And also, relying solely on factory support, there can be issues there, in a timely return of the equipment. So also key for us is that we are leveraging the skills and expertise from the established aviation maintenance, repair, and overhaul, or MRO industry. And this means that we recruit existing certified repair stations that already serve traditional aviation. We found that the robust skill sets around avionics installation, the repair, the troubleshooting are all very highly transferable skills to the drone industry. And that aviation safety mindset, process, and protocol is all very well established. And so this ensures that we can provide aviation grade level of service quality and help these drone operators and the manufacturers meet any maintenance related regulatory requirements that we're starting to see emerge. All right, so as I mentioned, the commercial drone industry definitely taking flight in many verticals, and the industry boasts a huge variety of use cases. And I liken it to the golden age of aviation in the 1920s and 1930s. There's an absolute explosion of design concepts and technology happening right now. And there are some very mature applications of the technology across many enterprises. Like I say, they've all been over the last few years testing this technology out to see where it fits in the business. So it's enterprises of all sizes, large and small, and all kinds of verticals. Drones take on many dirty, dull, and dangerous jobs. It's kind of, you'll hear that term in the industry, dirty, dull, dangerous. Machines, the machines become an extension of the human. And so it eliminates that expense and that risk of putting a human in harm's way for some of these missions. The sensor technology has become extremely advanced. It provides a wealth of more frequent and high resolution data that drives more informed decision making. Energy companies can more efficiently inspect thousands of miles of high tension lines or pipelines in a fraction of the time than in the past. Agricultural industry benefits immensely from crop analysis data gathered in mind-blowing detail from LiDAR, multispectral sensors, and at a fraction of the cost and effort of traditional methods, data gathering methods, and in fact, data that they never had before. So there's endless applications as well for surveying and mapping platforms. And I think near and dear to New Mexico, the film studio industry is leveraging the latest in aerial, aerial cinematography kit. So we have relationships now with over 24 announced UAS manufacturers, and they're all in various stages of development. We all know this is an emerging field, so everyone's in some stage of development, from R&D to early stages of scaling their fleet, finding that product market fit. And I'd like to share just a few of those profiles with you now. So the first one is Matternet, and they are a partner with UPS, UPS Flight Forward. UPS is exploring drone or package delivery by drone, and Matternet is one of the drone platforms that's a part of that program. And Matternet is really focused right now on a use case for transporting medical samples and packages across hospital campuses. And then they also have a program in Florida. I believe it's called the Villages. It's a huge retirement community. And in the wake of COVID, they've been testing a use case to deliver prescriptions from CVS and then into their retirement community. So I wanted to share one more video because this video is clicking and talking at the same time. It's not always easy. So they have such an elegant solution. I think the video really demonstrates. So very cool. They've got the whole package, the tech, the curb appeal. Very exciting things happening with those guys. And the interesting thing about this type of system, when we talk about maintenance for unmanned aircraft, it's not just the aircraft. It's something like Matternet. It's the base station and maintaining and managing the base station as well as the aircraft. ACECOR is another one of our partners, and they're focused more on a multi-rotor solution that's very rugged, weatherproof, heavy lift. Their roots are in high-end drone cinematography, and one of their claims to fame is providing the platform for some of the filming of Game of Thrones. If you have any fans out there. And the unique thing about their platform, and I mentioned some of this, the payload and sensor technology has just advanced so massively. They have a solution that makes the payload swap very easy. And so it can be, this platform can be leveraged into many different verticals. And the last one I wanted to share with you today is our partnership with Skyports. A lot of what they're doing is kind of way off in the future, this idea of urban air mobility and developing a new paradigm for urban transport. And they are starting to, so the advanced air mobility, you'll hear both terms. It was urban air mobility. Now the industry has kind of come around with this, I guess, more inclusive, broader term, this advanced air mobility that takes into account all of the technology and process and supporting infrastructure for the total system. And these passenger, what they call eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. It's an exciting aspect of the industry, and it's all about integrating autonomous drone operations into urban transport. The vertiports, similar to the Matternet system, the vertiports open the door to supporting more than just the aircraft. It's also the landing and docking infrastructure and the personnel that are integral to enabling these urban transport capabilities. And we imagine that the vertiport infrastructure is kind of it's a hybrid of existing airport locations, it's heliports and pads, it's car parking structures, repurposing existing infrastructure, and also new construction to accommodate this new transport mode. And so maintenance support for these facilities would be an extension of the Robotic Skies network and create a lot more opportunities for this idea of next generation MRO. So that's the big vision down the road. We're not there yet. So in the meantime, they're in the space with so many other companies testing the technology, starting small. And Skyports has a program somewhat similar to Matternet. It's focused in the medical space, and they're working with the NHS in Scotland to transport medical samples and PPE equipment and various items from the mainland to a remote island. So I have just one more video I'd like to share with you that demonstrates what they're doing, and it hits on so many of the current challenges and opportunities that so many of these companies are working through. Fire this up. Okay.
Take off, RC throttle 0%.
Throttle at 0%, position hold.
About to take off, eyes on drone. UAV navigation shows en route. I'm from Skyports. We're a drone delivery service provider, and we've partnered with Thales and Wingcopter to bring drone deliveries to the NHS up here in Argyll and Bute in Scotland. We're transporting critical medical cargo for the NHS to help in the COVID-19 response, carrying things like pathology samples, COVID testing kits, and PPE from a hospital on the mainland here in Scotland over to the Isle of Mull. Medical cargo is moved between the mainland and the island via car and ferry. this is a really limited service and it may be only once, twice or 3 times a week that it happens. With a drone we can do that multiple times a day, so that may be the difference between a hospital surgery on the islands being able to transport cargo 3 times a week to 3 times a day. For this project we've been working with Thales Horizon, who have been critical in the process to get the regulatory approvals to do this. We've been using the Horizon mission planning tool to plan our missions, which has been super useful and super important to make sure we have a safe mission in line with the Civil Aviation Authority.
We're really excited to have done this proof of concept, this 2-week trial period, and now for us it's about the future. How do we make this scalable? How do we provide permanent benefit to the communities that we're working with? Doing it in closed airspace, island to island, frankly that's the technological first, and it's been challenging, but we've worked with our partners to get through those challenges. Now we've set a lot of precedent, and we're working with the aviation authorities and our partners to see how we can expand it into unsegregated airspace, bringing in even more new technology, serving different use cases around the islands and beyond. I think this technology can have huge benefits not only in west coast of Scotland, but many places around Europe and the world, in those underserved places where transportation is hard, there's friction moving goods because of geography, topography, the price point, the speed of delivery, the utility can have really life-saving consequences.
What I'd like to do now is just talk about moving forward on this project. We've seen how working together with industry, with fantastic partners like Skyports, we can achieve something truly amazing. So we've known for quite some time now just what we can do technologically with these sort of aircraft. We need to bring the public and eventually the people that are going to be using these aircraft day in and day out on this journey with us. And that's really what this project represents. We've worked with Skyports tirelessly with the government, with the Civil Aviation Authority, with the Department for Transport in order to unlock this regulatory process. And we've been given permission for beyond visual line of sight A to B flights. It's incredible what we've achieved here. But what we need to do now is move this forward. We need to learn the lessons. We need to feed the information back into the regulators so they can make informed decisions on the future of this industry. And the sky is really the limit on what we can do here.
I love how these companies are taking on these real world, very impactful missions, but more from almost a public service stance to really prove these concepts. So building on what Callum was talking about towards the end of the video there, so what does it take to really enable the safe integration and to realize the full potential of UAS technology for the mainstream? And we heard Callum referring to beyond visual line of sight, or BVLOS, and it's one lens that the industry kind of uses to talk about unlocking this full potential, and it's the enablement of an autonomous BVLOS operation that's beyond visual line of sight of the operator. And things here they're evolving on a daily, I think perhaps hourly basis on the development of this type of operation. So just to dip a toe in the water, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I want to kind of scope this discussion to a broad overview of kind of 3 key areas that impact the realization of full drone potential. And this is where I like to think of it as, this highly regulated, safety-focused world of aviation meets this fast-moving world of high tech. And it's kind of this FAA meets Silicon Valley. And the first impact comes in the form of type certification of unmanned aircraft systems. So type certificate, very simplest definition, is granted by the FAA to a manufacturer, and it certifies the design of the aircraft and that it meets the safety standards. So regulators are now, this is one of those predictions that we see playing out, regulators are now setting precedent by treating these commercial drones destined for BVLOS operations like Matternet, like AceCore, like Skyports. And it's, missions like package delivery is a huge area of focus. And treating these operations on par with any other aircraft operating in shared airspace. And so the type certificate requirement is being applied. It is then the operator's responsibility to ensure the aircraft is kept in a condition safe for operation, the maintenance is performed in accordance with regulations. And that's the sweet spot for Robotic Skies, is to come in and help manufacturers and operators establish a maintenance program and maintain that program. Certification takes time. It can be a years-long process. There's many manufacturers in the pipeline today, so we'll see how the timing plays out. There's concern in the industry that it's kind of tapping the brakes on the speed of innovation, but it's a balance between innovating quickly, but also stabilizing the development process and ensuring public safety, especially when you're flying over people's heads. So the other side of that type certificate coin is integration with air traffic control. So the unmanned aircraft, it must be able to detect and avoid obstacles and other hazards, obey right-of-ways, remain well clear, all of those things that allows them to otherwise play nicely with incumbent flight operations and the environment. So to date, there's been some procedural exploration of these use cases in very controlled environments. And like we saw with Skyports and with Matternet, those are very well coordinated, controlled environments to test those use cases. And just like aircraft on the manufacturing side, there's kind of this race to develop AI-enabled software to manage that integration in the real world outside of these pilot programs. So we learned a lot. I don't know if y'all had a chance to tune into the keynote this morning, but we learned a lot about AI in that fascinating talk with Neil Sahota. AI systems development is alive and well in unmanned aircraft traffic management for sure. And many companies are exploring that art of the possible in this area. So there's a ton of industry committees and initiatives, and I thought I'd just pick one to talk about. You can certainly give it a Google and find a lot of information. So the FAA Beyond program is kind of a follow-on program to the predecessor called the IPP, or Integration Pilot Program. The IPP was a 3-year program that just ended last month. The purpose was to enable state, local, and tribal governments in collaboration with industry to advance more complex UAS operations in the national airspace system. So there's a variety of use cases that they are testing in these areas. Now, the IPP by statute was concluded last month, but because of the momentum and the success that we're having with these programs, they decided to continue it, and now it's referred to as the Beyond program. So many of the same initiatives, just looking to carry it forward and continue partnerships in the progress made under the IPP. There's a link there at the bottom where you could certainly find all the details on the specific activities that are taking place in each of these locations. The challenge areas for this program, and I'm sure you're starting to see kind of a theme here. One is this repeatable, scalable, economically viable, beyond visual line of sight operations. What can we do to enable that? And a specific emphasis on infrastructure inspection. So all of our civil engineering infrastructure inspection and maintenance is greatly enhanced by drone technology. Public operations and small package delivery. So we've seen that in our customer profiles. And then The second challenge area is closing the loop with and leveraging industry operations to better analyze and qualify societal and economic benefits. So what's the benefit to the public and business opportunity? And then third, and perhaps most important, focusing on community engagement and efforts to collect, analyze, and address community concerns. So the program is really seeking to move drone operations beyond many of these operators out there today. They're operating under a waiver or an exception based on the type of specific mission they're performing. But exceptions don't scale. And so the idea is that we want to integrate more and more into the mainstream and the established rules. And so, as I just mentioned, the third enabler really is the public acceptance aspect. Industry is very sensitive to this topic, and as we see, it's reflected in the FAA's kind of key challenges to overcome. And when it comes to the BVLOS operations, it's not just about getting an Amazon delivery in 30 minutes or less. Drones have become a critical asset for humanitarian efforts, public safety, connecting remote communities like we saw with Skyports, disaster relief, and so much more. So I will wrap it up to say here are some resources that I would recommend if you want to explore more. A Google will take you on any down any rabbit hole you want to venture down when it comes to unmanned aircraft systems. The FAA's website is very robust with information. You can read all about the previous IPP and the Beyond program, and all of the development efforts around integrating UAS. NASA is also very involved on the advanced air mobility front and really examining things around supply chain and being able to scale and find more efficiencies in supply chain and innovating in that realm. And then there are many news sources as well. Commercial UAV News is a great place to start. They have a lot of good commentary there and kind of backstory on a lot of the industry issues. So check those out if you would like to learn more. Pardon me. So we covered a lot of territory, and I hope this presentation gave you some insights to challenges and opportunities in commercial UAS, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Angela, I think there was one question in the chat from Alex Crothers asking if Robotic Skies has an education outreach program.
Nothing official. Please reach out if you have some thoughts around that, but we're still kind of a small organization getting up and running. So no official program, but happy to entertain any ideas that you have.
A small organization with a global reach already. I think you're underselling yourself, but
yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing. You know, the core Robotic Skies employees, we're a pretty small team, but yeah, it does make us look much larger with our member network.
and we have an aviation high school, and we just started a drone program, and you got my undivided attention when you started talking about the maintenance side of it, because we're always talking about flying them, but we got them broke all over the campus. So it sounds like something we'd be interested in.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, we have one thing I didn't mention is our CEO. He's very involved at the industry level with setting maintenance standards. He's leads a couple of the ASTM committees on maintenance, airworthiness, personnel training. So those are all aspects that are being looked at, and just like traditional aviation, it's more than just pilots.
Of course,
Yeah.
there's a lot to it. So I've got your email address. I'll send you a couple of thoughts and we'll see what happens.
Okay, sounds good.
I think that it's such an exciting area of emerging technology here in New Mexico. I do know that we have several of the top drone racers in the world. Actually, the top man and woman. They happen to be married, but our students, like yours, Alex, one of the big lessons is drones equal continual maintenance, right? It's something that's just part of it. So it's really fascinating, this business model to me, and how you're kind of disrupting this and providing these new opportunities. So
Yeah.
It could be another source of revenue for you, a turnkey solution for schools that want to stand up a high school, junior, senior, like we have with the CNM, drone maintenance program. And you offer it, it's curriculum already done, bits, parts, and pieces, something to think about
Yeah.
as you all
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah, for sure. And on this topic, just as it just happened recently, I had a gentleman reach out from the Pima Community College over in the Phoenix area, I believe. And he has some grant, or was awarded some grant money to develop a drone maintenance program for the community college. So there could be opportunities there for a technical high school to plug into, community college as well.
We have something similar right now with CNM and their A&P program. It doesn't encompass drones yet. So
yeah,
we're just looking for opportunities for our students.
Yeah. Very good. Well, I'll look forward to your message.
fantastic. Any
Okay.
other questions for Angela?
I think I've stunned everyone else into silence. So it's such a challenge to like kind of speak into the void.
It is. You did a great job. So thank you. And we appreciate this. And I hope that we'll soon see you back here in the 505, right?
Oh yes, I would love that. I've done my time in Houston. I'm ready to get back to 5,000 feet.
Fantastic. Just one last question for me. Like, what are the biggest challenges that you think that as an organization you're facing in the coming year?
Well, I think number one is just hanging in there with the COVID situation. I think our current assessment is it's basically moved everything to the right, 9 to 12 months. Everyone just obviously shut down there for a while, but we're starting to see activity come back and conversations reignite with our OEM partners. So that's encouraging, and just continuing to build the programs and get connected with operators and make the business model happen.
Well, I loved hearing about the medical delivery, the pharmacy delivery down in Florida. My uncle actually lives in the Villages, so that's really interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure he knows about it then.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to him and ask him about it. So fantastic. Thank you, Angela. We appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is great. I appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's a wrap then. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.